What's up, Nerdyverse? I'm Daddy Louie, and in this video, we are taking a look at a game called Ambal Tournament, so stick around. Before we get started, if you're new to our channel and you want to see more content like this, start now by hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Ambal Tournament is an upcoming Kickstarter being published by Salt Ring Games. It is for 2 to 4 players. It plays in about 20 to 40 minutes and is for ages 10 and up. Ambal Tournament is an expandable card game, because we dare not say the word LCG, but expandable card games are similar to trading card games in that you customize your own deck. However, everyone gets the same cards when they purchase a box. There's no blind packs, and the game grows over time by adding sets into it that, again, everyone has access to. What makes this game unique is that there are no creatures. So there are no creature battles. You are playing as a wizard or a sorcerer against your opponent, and you will be using spells and abilities from different schools of magic, going back and forth, giving yourself boons, inflicting curses on your opponent, and so on and so forth. But the question on everyone's mind is this game any good? If you join me on the table, we will check it out and get started. Okay, so first and foremost, I need to say that this is a prototype version of the game. This is not a final production copy, so everything is, of course, subject to change. Some of these components are not of the highest quality, but they are very good. I didn't have any trouble with it whatsoever. This is, they're calling this set Foundation. This is the first of many sets that they have planned. This set includes 4 schools of magic, fire, water, sword, and assassination. And there's 100 cards in total in the set. Every card is different. 25 cards for each school of magic. In the rules, it does give you 2 starter decks to construct to learn the game. That's what I've done here. I do really like the background that they've chosen, or the card back that they've chosen for the game. I think it's really, really cool looking. Some of the art is not finished on the cards that I got. So as I show you the game, if you see a card that doesn't have anything here, it's just because the art was not completed, but all of the spells and text is completed, which is really nice. You also get 2 energy trackers. So in this game, you use energy to pay for your spells. The red token here will indicate where your maximum energy stops. So in this case, at the start of the game, everyone starts with a maximum of 12 energy. So you can never have more than 12 energy. And the white or clear token here is what your current energy is at. So you start the game with 8 energy, and at the end of every turn, you gain up to 8 energy, assuming you can, because your max energy has not gone down. Each player also starts with 50 health. You can use a piece of paper or a couple D10s, which is probably what I'll do to keep track, but they did include some health tokens or damage tokens, which is nice. They also have status tokens like poison and burning and stuff like that. And then some D6s. These are used to count down the boons and the curses. So if a curse lasts for 2 turns, you can place this die on the 2, if I can find it there, and you'll know that 2 turns you have that curse on you, or boon, whichever one that you get. And there are things that in the game that can make your max energy go up and down. The object of the game is to beat your opponent. Obviously, the 2 ways that you can do that: 1, you can drain their health from 50 to 0, so they have no health left, or you can get their maximum health or their maximum energy down to 5. If at any time the max energy that a player has is 5 or less, they lose the game. And that's just a general overview. I will go ahead real quick, set up a game, and show you how it plays. Okay, so there are different modes to playing this game. We're just going to be looking at the normal mode right now. When constructing a deck, like I said, there are some starter decks in the rulebook. Decks are 20 cards. They cannot exceed 2 schools of magic. So, for example, this one has Assassination and Water. And you can only have one epic spell from either school in your, or elite spell, sorry, not epic, elite spell in your deck, and you'll notice those by the bright gold border. If you ever run out of cards in your draw pile, you can reshuffle your discard pile to make a new draw pile, but you will lose a maximum of 2 energy in your max energy tracker. So just keep that in mind. Rounds in this game are simultaneous, so both players go through each phase together, drawing cards and battling each other at the same time, as opposed to a back and forth, which is a unique mechanic that I've not seen in many other games. So to start off, both players start with 7 cards in their hand. That is your maximum hand size. So it doesn't matter how many cards that you have in your hand, but when drawing, you'll only draw up to 7. So if you have more than 7 cards in your hand, you don't have to discard, but you won't be able to draw any new cards. So the first phase of the round is the draw phase. So you draw up to 7 cards. Again, if you can't draw anymore, you can refresh your discard pile, but you will lose max energy for that. Then you trigger any start of the round effects. We won't have any at the beginning of the game, obviously. Then we go into the battle phase. And the way that the battle phase works is kind of unique, so we'll talk about that in a second separate. After the battle phase, you have your end of the round effects, so any curses, boons, and conditions. They take place at the end of the round. Then you reduce the duration, so that goes back to the dice, like we were saying. If you have a negative or positive effect, you would then tick it down from, if it lasts for 2 rounds, you would then let the ticker tick down. Then you move any of the skills that you used, which will be here in the center. You'll move those to the discard pile. Then you gain 8 energy, and then play goes back again to the draw phase where you draw back up. So let's talk about how battles work and how that interaction happens. Okay, so like I said earlier, when playing, everything happens simultaneously. So on my turn in a battle, I'm going to play a spell, and I'm going to play it face down against my opponent. And I need to make sure that I can pay the energy cost, which is this number up here in the top left, in order to play it. If I play a card that I don't have the energy for, I will lose my max energy, and the card will be returned to me, and no effect will happen. So I'm just going to choose one here. I'm going to choose this Enduring Winter. It is a curse spell, so I'm going to play it face down here against my opponent. And then my opponent is going to do the same. I'm just going to pick one randomly here. Let's show you how elite spells work. So I'm going to play that one there. So these get done. This gets done simultaneously. Once we've both chosen a card to play, we would then reveal them at the same time. And then a few things happen in a specific order. So the first thing that we have to do is pay the skill energy, pay the energy for the skill. So I have to pay 3, he has to pay 5. So he started at 8, he's going to go down to 3, and I started at 8, and I'm going to go down to 5. Then any interrupt effects activate first. Neither one of us has that. Then block or evade effects happen. Neither one of us has that either. Defensive effects like curses or conditions, reduce damage received, reduce the cost of skills, boons, those take place. I do have a curse, so that would happen now. And then, or I'm sorry, but it's an offensive curse because it has the sword right here. So then offensive effects happen, and then healing is calculated, and then damage is calculated. So these two things take effect. If you have to decide if there's a tie, in this case there's a tie, whoever paid the most for the spell would get to activate their spell first. If it's still a tie, then you roll to decide. But in this case, his solar burst happens now. So it's an elite spell. It says deal 4 damage to the target opponent. If they are burning, deal 2 extra damage and increase their burning duration by 2. I'm not burning currently, so it probably would make more sense to play a burning card first before playing this. But I didn't, so it's just going to do 4 damage from that. So I took 4 damage. And then mine would happen. So mine is a curse. Take 2 damage at the end of each round. If the target has another water curse, the duration of this skill is increased to 3 instead. So this is a 2 duration. He doesn't have any water curses. Again, I should probably play another water curse before playing this. You can kind of see the strategy there. But he doesn't, so he's going to take a curse here. It just says it's a water curse, so I'm just going to play this this little curse spell, and it happens for 2 turns. So he knows how much for that to happen, and that's it. So then, and then we would go again if we choose to do so. He still has 3 energy. I have 5, so I can look at my my thing here and see if there's something else that I want to play. I'll play this one here, and my opponent will play that card. Okay, so then we reveal again at the same time, and then we have to pay immediately. I have to pay 3. So it puts me down to 2. He has to pay 2, puts him down to 1. And he has a defensive ability, whereas I have an offensive ability, so his would take place first. His ability says you start burning for 2 rounds and gain 5 energy. So he gains, he basically, it's called self-ignite, so he gains 5 energy, so he goes up to 6. And he gains burning, which is another thing over here, for 2 rounds. And mine is an offensive ability that says deal 2 damage to the target for each curse on them. Now he only has 1 curse because burning is not a curse. So now we would activate my ability here, Winter Bite, which is an offensive spell. Deal 2 damage to the target opponent for each curse on them. They only have 1 curse, because burning is a condition, not a curse. So they would take 2 damage for this spell here. Okay, so again, we would flip. You kind of get the idea of what we're doing now. At the same time, I played a 2, he played a 4. Both offensive, so his will get to go first. But he spent 4 energy, so he's down to 2. And I spent my last 2, putting me down to 0. So his would go off first. His says if the target is using an offensive skill, which I am, then deal 6 damage to them. It's called backfire. So that absolutely is what happened to me. So I will take 6 damage, putting me at 10 damage total taken. Not off to a really great start. Now mine says increase the duration of an existing curse or condition on the target opponent by 1 round. So he has burning, which deals 3 damage at the end of the round, and he has a curse which deals 2 damage. So I want to do this burning condition and put that up to 3. So he's going to take an extra round of burning. So I have no more energy to play anything, so I'm going to pass to my opponent. He can still play something if he chooses to do so, but he doesn't have anything that he wants to play either, so we're both going to pass. And I'll show you how the remainder of the turn would work out. Okay, so now that the battle phase has finished, we move into end round effects. So this is where curses, boons, and conditions happen. They cannot happen all at one time. So this condition here, or this curse here, was 2 damage. So he takes 2, and the burning is 3. So he's going to take 5 total from conditions, putting him at 7 to my 10. Then we reduce the durations down by 1. So this curse has 1 more round left, and this condition has 2 more rounds left. And then we move these used skills that we played over to our discard pile. We gain 8 energy, up to our max, of course. So I would go to 8, he would go to 10. And then we move on to the draw phase. So we draw back up to 7. I only have 4 cards in hand. So I draw up to 7. And the round begins all over again, starting any start of round effects, which there are none, and so on and so forth. The one thing that I forgot to mention is that during the move used skills, so when we moved the skills that we used to the discard pile, you can discard up to 1 skill from your hand to the discard pile, which would allow you to draw more cards. But remember, if you go to draw and you don't have enough cards in your hand, you're going to lose max energy, so keep that in mind. And that is how you play Ambal Tournament. Everybody knows that I have a love of card games over most other genres of game, and Ambal Tournament is just so much fun to play. I really enjoy just about everything that there is about this game. I do wish that there were more cards. I do wish that there were more schools of magic, which I guess is one of the reasons why I just really hope that this game is successful, so that we do get more of those things in the near future. Because 100 cards is not a lot, but I do understand the developers wanting to take it slow, make sure that the game is balanced, which I do appreciate. So definitely go and check this one out. It is available on Kickstarter very, very soon. I will make sure that all of the links and everything are in the description below, and that way you can go and check it out for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Really helps us out a lot. Make sure that you share it with your family, friends, and your nerdy communities. If you have any games that you would like to see us feature here on our page, make sure that you let us know down in the comments below. I do read them all, and I do love interacting with you guys. If you have any videos you want to share on our page, or anything that you would like to collaborate with us, we would love to do that. So just hit us up on one of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Circle of Nerds. Also, don't forget that we have a weekly podcast that comes out on Tuesdays called The Cosmic Disaster Show. You can find that right here on YouTube or anywhere that you enjoy listening to podcasts. And for an extra bit of love and affection to us here at the Circle of Nerds, please check us out over on Patreon at patreon.com/Circle of Nerds. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. I will see you in the next video.